Welcome to a Milk Market Tidbit for the July classic component values that USDA released yesterday afternoon. This is Dr. Lawrence Jones, and I'm going to record this on Thursday, August the 6th. We'll start with the Class 1 prices because they always come out about 2 weeks ahead of everything else. And it was down 85 cents to 21.33 off the high that we had just last month at 22.18. Class 3 prices ended up at $15.52. That was down 46 cents. Still higher than the low we had back here in January, but off of the high that we had last September at $17.59. These look like they are trending up, but there's a little bit of pressure on these coming down, especially because the National Dairy Sales Report that came out as the fifth one in July was particularly weak. And if you look at how this contract settled 6 months out, it came down $1.84. It peaked up here at 19.02 in that April-May kind of time frame when everything kind of peaked for a little while. Ended up down here at 15.52 for the actual close. So $3.50 off of the high that we had just a few months earlier. And as usual, if you'd sold your milk here, you would have been screaming at me up here saying, why'd you have us do that? And then when we ended up, you would have been fairly happy. Fat prices came down just a little bit to $1.67. That's off of the low that we had in January of $1.41. And these are fairly stable here, and it all depends what happens with butter, because it's kind of hanging in that $1.50 range. Protein came down 14 cents to $2.32, again off of the low that we had back here in February. These look like they're going to be up here for a little bit. Again, I'm not sure that we're going to hit $3 again, which was a high back here in November, but it depends on what's going to happen with cheese here, but there's a tremendous amount of cheese floating around the system. Other solids are 40 cents. Again, these look like they're headed up. Weight really can't seem to break out of that 65 cents on the National Dairy Sales Report, so I expect these to come down a little bit. Class 4 prices is the one that have really fallen out of bed. We were at as high as $22.32 back here in May. They came down $2.62 to $18.34. And again, this is all going to depend as to what happens with non-fat dry milk and butter. So this was the classic component numbers that came out with the National Dairy Sales Report. Earlier in the week, we had the June exports and the global dairy trade. Global dairy trade for cheese is pretty weak at under $1.70, and the June exports for cheddar were about $1.85 and change. Later today, we're going to get the dairy products report, which will be the next milk market tidbit.